it.
Yeah. Um, with that said, we can jump into our first topic of the day. Let me get the timestamp because I already missed one time. So I have to go back after the show's over and get that. But let me put this timestamp down. All right. First topic of the day. Helldivers has lost 90% of its player base since um since its launch. Um which is pretty drastic. I don't uh want to make it seem like it's totally doom and gloom for the game because I checked the game still has like a decently healthy player count. It was like around 40,000 when I checked on Saturday. So that's not bad for a live service game. It's still one of the top 5 games played on Steam. It's totally dropped off on PlayStation though, so the PlayStation community isn't really supporting it as much. But I mean, we were kind of saying that from the jump that it was mainly being supported by the PC. Um, but I mean, I guess the main reason I'm bringing it up is because what is it next week the beta for um Concord goes live, and is PlayStation showing an ability to actually do multiplayer well and retain a healthy player base. Um, so that's kind of where I'm kind of going with this topic. Um, Nappy, as a PC player who played Helldivers pretty heavily, how are you feeling about this? And the whole PSN fiasco that kind of drove the player count down. That was like the first thing that really took a big hit at it. And how do you feel like this will impact um, future live service titles that are coming to your platform?
All right, my camera's acting funny, so bear with me.
Yeah, your green screen is
Um,
acting funny, but you're
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I think my camera's a little hot. I forgot I got to turn the AC on in my apartment. It is still feel like 80 degrees in here still, and
Oh,
I'm just
it was pretty cool today. Like 72 today.
well, my apartment's still up at it's still up high, so my AC hasn't kicked on at all, and I just turned my camera on, so it's a little hot. But I think yeah. Besides that, I'm looking at the active player count right now. 43 minutes ago, so currently it's sitting at 29,710, which is I'll route it up to 30,000. It's not bad. It's still extremely low compared to its all-time peak, which was 450 million. But at the same time, it's summertime.
450,000.
Yeah,
Million.
450,000, not million, thousand. But looking at this, it's summertime. A lot of people are outside, so the fact that the player counts drop like this doesn't surprise me at all. This happens all the time, especially during the summertime. People have lives,
Yeah.
so like for the fact that people are like, "Oh my God, this doom and gloom, it's over, it's over." I'm like, nah, it's fine. Look, okay, it's summertime. We outside. It's hot. We'll rock out with our shirts off, jumping in pools, spending family time, going on vacation. Look, Daryl couldn't even bring his Switch with him. So, I mean, it's kind of weird if you go on vacation to game. Well, I won't say weird, but your family
Well,
will look at you funny.
everyone vacations differently. You know, some people they go on vacation, they don't really want to go out. They just want to be away from where they're at.
That is true, but if you're vacationing with family and they tell you like or with your girlfriend and she tells you to put that game down, this
Better,
is a family time. I
better
mean,
listen.
oh god, here we go.
But yeah.
But
So
yeah, it's going to be fine. I mean, yeah, it's lower as it's ever been. Do I think the game is dead? No.
I don't think the
There's
game
still
is
hell
dead.
divers. Hell divers are still out there. There's just like I said, people outside for a little bit. They
But
are enjoying themselves.
so
That's
around,
all.
so I'm gonna ask you this: around the time that whenever they drop their next big update, it is a live service game, so there's gonna be an update at some point. So let's say they release an update in the fall. Do you see it recovering to maybe around 100,000 players again, or you just think it's do you think it kind of gets anywhere around that 100,000 mark again, or do you think that the PSN damage and things like that have just kept it to where it may not reach that high mark where it
Um,
stays in the Steam top 10 through the end of the year?
I have to say that I think they do need to work on some stuff. Honestly, if they were to release a patch around fall, I'm not sure if it's going to get up to that 458
No,
thousand that
I
they
just said
got.
I just said 100,000, not even not
A
anything.
hundred, 100,000. It's possible. It depends. I mean, like honestly, like the developers of Helldiver 2, I don't want them to get stagnant and feel comfortable or safe. I mean, the game industry is extremely competitive, and I'm curious to see if they can even get
Yeah, I'm
some of the
asking.
PlayStation players back because of Black Ops 6 is coming out in
Yeah,
October.
that's why I'm
So
asking because it's a bunch of big, you know, competition coming in the fall
I
in a live
I
service realm.
I can see it bouncing back a little bit. I mean, I maybe if they get to 100, if they get to 100K concurrent players on Steam, they have done a good job if they will release a patch because now looks like everyone's excited for First Descendant.
Yeah, which launches
Literally
launches tomorrow,
tomorrow.
or did it
My
launch
literally
today?
my
I thought it launched
no
today.
it allow you to download the game,
Okay,
then allow you to play it. Actually, mine's just patching right now.
okay, I'll download it on Steam
It'll be
because
available at 3 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it
okay.
says 3 a.m. Eastern, and mine's is already patching.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
for those who don't know, we're gonna be arranging like a community night where, we'll probably do like a live broadcast on the VGP channel, and you guys can rock out with us while we play First Descendant. We just gotta figure out a day we're gonna have.
yeah, man, we're also gonna
Absolutely,
test. Also,
gotta
I'll be
do it.
test. Yeah, I'll also be testing out some controllers while I'm at it too. So, um, but back to Helldivers 2. Yeah, like I said, Helldivers 2 is going to be falling off. First Descended is like it's one of the live server competition. I'm pretty sure there's other live service games coming out. So, yeah, Helldivers, you guys can't be stagnant no more. You guys have to give players a reason to come back. I mean, right now we still are in the same two tier trees as far as grind those metals for materials. Them hardcore gamers probably already got every single weapon in the game.
There's
Yeah,
no content in that game, bro.
I mean, I won't say there's no
No,
content.
there's
It's
only like 6 different mission types, bro. Like once you've done it, it's done. They they need to add something to the game.
I mean, the Helldivers 1 had like 6 different factions, and this one only has 3.
That's what I mean.
So
There's no content in this game. Like
I
what
mean,
you're saying does not
they have
invalidate
stuff to
that.
lean. No, I'm saying they have stuff to lean on. They can start bringing in some of
But
these
they
other
haven't.
factions.
But they haven't.
Yeah, no,
so
they probably plan on to. There's no way they're not going to leave it like this with just 3 factions.
I don't know.
and it would be great if FC joined us. We'll see. We'll reach out to him, see if he can join us for a night. See if Lady gives a bit of freedom.
I
But
don't know. Well, he done with school, so he don't
yeah,
got no more excuses.
but yeah. Since you started, I was gonna go to you anyway. Jube, what are your thoughts on Helldivers losing its player base and Sony's ability to um really capture the live service market and have success in that live service market?
Where's the content?
Have you
That's really
played?
what I want to know.
Have you
What?
have you played Helldivers 2? I know I haven't.
Yeah, of course I played it.
Okay. Uh, so you feel like it's a lack of content, or you
Absolutely.
feel like you feel like a lack of
It's one.
content is the issue, or do you feel like that's just a
It's
contributing
it's
factor?
a it's a contributing factor. It is not the primary issue at all. But and then I'm pretty sure the PSN sign-in thing just had people not even wanting to touch it. You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
especially if they're forced to.
we're not forced to on
No,
Helldivers 2. That's just the
you're
rest
not.
of the games.
You're not forced to. They walked that back, but it still had uh negative a negative impact on the game overall because
Yeah,
they still
like it left
didn't.
a bad taste in people's mouths. Like
Yeah.
it's still
it left a bad taste in people's mouths. But did Ghost of Tsushima 2? Did Ghost of Tsushima drop yet on PC? Not Ghost.
Yes, it did. It
And
is
it
sitting
did
at the
pretty
very
well.
positive reviews.
Yeah, I'm about to say it did leave a bad taste, but it did do what? But Ghost of Tsushima dropped, and that was the first game that dropped that required a PS. And
Yep, that
and the game is
and
doing pretty well.
yeah, it's doing pretty well. Some people didn't buy it because of the whole PSN account thing. So now God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC, and that one requires it too.
I mean,
People don't like the fact that PlayStation is at requiring a login for single player games, but hey, they're trying to make it seem like the PlayStation market is growing. And I just think these companies need to realize that, like, hey,
honestly,
why are you diving into us? We're not buying your hardware. We're sticking to PC.
I
Stop
don't.
making it look like that we're on your platform when we're not.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of people, I would bet that a lot of the people who bought Ghost of Tsushima on PC are people that already have PS. I would dare to say a lot of them. A good
That wouldn't
percent.
make them buy the
A
game
good.
twice then?
A lot of people want to buy the game twice, especially if you get double trophies. I've heard a lot of PlayStation gamers say, um, they'll get it again to double trophy up. I've definitely heard, and then people want to play it again at a higher resolution, higher frame rate. So yeah, a lot of people buy those games twice.
That is hard for me to believe. That you because the PlayStation 5, I'm not saying that, like, yeah, the PlayStation 5 has issues sometimes where it cannot play most games. It can't high demanding graphic games it can't play at like 4K 60. So I mean, I guess I can understand, but at the same time, like,
I mean, we're talking
if
about
you
people that
have,
have like a decent disposable income, where they don't mind.
I don't want to get too much into a United States economy, but that 33%, inflation to compare to the average raise in salary, 3%. If you have disposable income, man, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not I can't relate to you.
Yeah, some people out here hurting for sure. A lot of people, not some, but yeah. I didn't want to cut you off, G-Bang. Did you have any more thought?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a content thing. I think it's like it's a really it's crazy to see like it be all hyped and everybody's like, yeah, we're playing this game, and then it just kind of goes away. And I don't really know what they're going to do, at least this year, to kind of fix
Well,
that. Like
um, uh,
once Todd comes out, like that's it.
yeah, but I'm saying, imagine the people who had a crew that they were running with, and then and then the country that their friends were in got excluded. Now they can't play the game.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what we're not talking about here. Like there are the how many people just got kicked out of the game
Yeah. So I
because
mean,
they're in a country that doesn't support PSN, so they can't even play anymore, even though like that's wild to me.
yeah, because
Like the way to shoot yourself in the foot.
I think
and
it was actually more so Sony's call more than the actual developers, because the developers,
No, of course it's Sony's fault, but
yeah, the developer is at the mercy of the
that's
publisher.
Sony's game.
Yeah.
That's Sony's game. So at the end of the day, that's it. That's their game.
Yeah, it was funny. They actually had to pull back I remember the developer pulled back the tweet because they made a cape that was based off of all the negative reviews scale that they received after that PSN account thing, and he was going to publish it on as the actual cape you can get in Helldivers 2. Yeah, he had to take that tweet down. I think Sony did not like that.
Hey,
you can't make fun of your boss.
Well, they're not their boss technically. They don't own them. They're more like partners.
A partners with a gun to the back of his head.
Yeah, they're more like partners. But yeah, Zero, you've been very patient on this topic. What are your thoughts regarding Helldivers 2 loss of players, and kind of what this kind of projects towards Sony's future live service initiatives?
I mean, overall, I'm sure they're not necessarily happy about the loss of player base because it means a lot of people. However, I am sure for a game that had to exceed far beyond expectations, um, it is certainly something you can live with. What I think you said there are around 40,000 just concurrent players currently.
This weekend they were.
No,
Snappy looked, it's like 30,000, but it's Monday. You know.
it's a
Okay,
Monday. This is as of right now.
so not too bad. I was looking up just some other folks, so I saw like Rainbow Six Siege, which granted has been out for quite some time, but seemed to be just from this past weekend 57 players playing about an hour ago, from today, not this past weekend. Playing about an hour ago, so
57.
57,000. Yeah.
Okay.
That's healthy for a game that old. That is actually really healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anything drop below like 10,000, that is a multiplayer game. That's when you go into an oh shit moment.
right. Which doesn't seem to be Helldiver's issue just yet. But I think we sort of already talked about it. What really comes down to is just content. Like I'm sure the Sony thing didn't help, but people can be very forgiving if they like the game that they play. But as far as I played it, I've probably only got maybe 10 to 15 hours at best, and that might be very generous. Of Helldivers 2 play. I liked the game, but I knew it wasn't going to necessarily be something for me specifically. It didn't scratch the itch in games like that I tend to like. So, but that's perfectly fine. So, they just sort of have to come up with something interesting. Like Helldivers always had an uphill battle, but really not necessarily uphill so much as like they just climbed higher than they've ever thought they could. No one expected this game to do as well as it did because the first one didn't do that well. And people really leaned into the whole super democracy of it all, and the internet took it and ran wild with it, which, if anything is telling, if the internet picks up something and it becomes a meme, it isn't going to last that much longer anyway. Right? Like, the speed of the internet is way too fast for people to continue to be like, oh, we're spreading democracy across the galaxy. We've moved on to something else, and so now we're just left with the folks.
We're with the real democracy right now. Is in trouble.
So we're left with the folks who just like the game and like playing it, like grinding it, like figuring out different stuff. But I say time and time again, my perfect live service game is Monster Hunter, and because constant updates, constant abilities to learn, constant things to
that comes out
unlock.
Fall, right?
What is that?
The newest one? No, that's Wilds is 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, that's coming out early next year. So usually Monster Hunter is around it's either going to be January or February or March. It's usually going to be February or March based off the last two games.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and what I think the Helldivers 2 team needs, and hopefully they're doing this now, is to begin to ramp up the content schedule. Again, I just don't think they expected as many people to get into this. And when you have so many people, they need that content. They need that stuff to continue playing your game. So now that it's settled down to, I guess, what probably is its quote unquote normal numbers,
for audience,
we will see how far the game will go from here. I don't think right now this is any sort of indication of how Sony might be managing this, only because this game, again, just exceeded expectations. This is no disrespect to the devs. Like they made a great product. Yeah. People really liked it, but I just don't think they thought it was going to blow up in the way that it did. And some games like this take forever to blow up. Like that it felt, that it did in its initial release is something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at Fortnite. Like when their Save the World ship was a flip, and Battle Royale just kind of came out of nowhere for them. So
yeah, and it took them forever to really get Battle Royale to cook.
To like where exactly now it's just like, well, that's why they went the platform route. It's like there's never going to be a dearth of content. Like there's always something to do in that damn game.
Yeah,
everybody.
So Helldivers 2 always had a decent community. Even when it was just the original Helldivers, it was top down. It always had a decent community on PC, and I think that kind of helped it establish its community when Helldivers 2 launched. In regards
I
to
think the
some of
first
these,
one sold like 100K though. Like it's not like it sold
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, but it had a
no,
decent,
yeah,
but it had a decent community. So,
it did, and
Still,
also it was on PSP Vita as well.
um,
Um,
but kind of what I'm getting at is that it already had a community. What I'm kind of leaning towards, what I'm asking specifically in regards to future titles, do you think the PC community is going to be as receptive to those titles after seeing this, based on this huge player drop that we've seen over the pretty much since this, because it was still pumping around 100,000 plus around the time that the PSN news came out. So,
Right.
I
do you think
I
the live
can.
service PC community is going to be as receptive to Concord? I always get the name of Haven's game wrong. Is it Fair Play or Fair Game?
Fair games.
Yeah, Fair Game.
Hmm.
Yeah, Fair Game. And what other live service title are they working on? Concord, Fair Game, and one other one, and Marathon. I think we're going to be as receptive in the
Marathon
PC
isn't
community.
live service though.
Marathon isn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it would be. But what I guess to jump into that, if Marathon was live service, Marathon would probably be the true test.
Yeah.
Because it is the return of a somewhat beloved franchise, I guess. Some people like to say they really love it. Whatever.
And a trusted developer.
Yeah, with a trusted developer is like, okay, like what are we gonna do here? Whereas Concord and you said Fair Games,
Yeah.
it can be up in the air. I think it's really gonna come down to just how fun those games are, particularly for like Concord.
I've seen some footage from Concord already.
Yeah.
We talking? They cooking, or does it not look like?
The community has not been totally receptive thus far. Those who have had access to it, the beta hasn't gone live yet. It's like an open.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, they
it's
got 7
definitely
weeks
not-
left.
It's definitely not even coming close to fucking Overwatch, bro. Like it's
Overwatch 2, I mean,
Mm-mm.
you
And I
know,
think
Overwatch 2 is in the dirt right now.
Yep. And I know what I said.
And that would be interesting, right? Like, 'cause some of it might just be, can it scratch whatever itch people want from Overwatch 2? If it can just get that, it might be okay. But you're right, that still remains to be seen, and particularly if early impressions aren't promising, then we're still looking for a cool hero-based shooter to, be the new Overwatch.
And Marvel Rivals, what about that? That's
And Marvel Rivals, I hear medium things about Marvel Rivals.
it's to be announced. It's not. We don't have a date yet. So,
Yeah. But I've seen
Ooh.
folks play it, and I've seen people talk, and again, so far they seem to find it okay.
The other thing is, who's gonna like really carry this game? Is it gonna be?
It's gonna be
is
the
it gonna
PC
be-
community. I mean, I think
I'm-
that's one of the main reasons I'm bringing up this topic is because it doesn't really seem like the PlayStation community really has a palette for
They don't play
PlayStation
online
doing.
games like
they
that.
don't play live. No, they do play
They
online
do
games. It's
play
2K
online
and 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, and
So,
Fortnite.
I think
That's literally it on PlayStation.
I think what we're starting to find, even when we like look at all of PlayStation first party, outside of the big, tentpole titles as they call them, there isn't really a palette for their first party content, and they're trying to find they're trying to find that next Horizon. They're trying to find that next Ghost of Tsushima. But they haven't done that this generation. They tried it with Forspoken. They tried it with Stellar Blade. They tried it with Returnal. Like they're looking for that, but that their community just doesn't really have a palette for their first party new IP, or even the second party deals that they're making that are new IP. They just haven't been very digestible to their community, and so it's like, is the PC community going to kind of pick up the slack with these new titles and I guess I'm looking at Helldivers as kind of like, kind of to forecast what we may see in the coming.
We will see. So PC gamers, what happens is the first like week, a lot of people going to try it, but then you always check back on that game like 2 months later.
With Concord, the beta isn't free. You have to pre-order the game in order to do the beta.
Yeah, there's going to be some
pre-ordering beta stuff.
Yeah,
you have to.
Concord made that decision, and
right,
it didn't work in their failure.
So I can see it working a little. See the Concord beta, the numbers are going to look inflated in a sense because for every beta purchase, you can share it with 5 friends.
Yep, I forgot about that. Yep.
So
you gotta get one person to get the beta.
Yeah, so one person gets the beta. So if 100,000 people pre-order the game, you got 500,000 players potentially for your beta. So
I guess that's how they get around the pre-order. Because why am I pre-order? Why you let him give me access for a pre-order? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, bring back demos. I mean, we've been doing good with demos. We literally just had a Next Fest on Steam where there was a crap ton of demos that people were playing and enjoying.
I think when you're confident in your product, you do the demo.
Yeah, they don't seem confident enough to do an open beta.
So
Warhammer canceled their open beta. They're shook.
Yeah. So, and a part of it is also, do you have the capacity for an open beta too? Are you willing?
Which is a big thing.
Because that's another part of believing in your product. If you believe in your product, you'll invest in having that capacity. So it's if you expect to do certain numbers, you'll do a open beta. But maybe if you're not expecting to do those numbers, you don't want to, pay for that type of server capacity and that type of player base to just come and eat you up and then tell you your game sucks and not buy it. So, I mean, I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I still think some of it is inevitably going to just fall down on what this game is and will it, for Concord and being it as a shooter as it is, it's what's the gunplay like? Are the characters interesting? Is there kind of a lore behind it that sort of gets us sucked in? There's so many particularly for any multiplayer game, I think there's so many little things that can shift it in any way or any favor that really captures people and gets people to where they want to play this and are interested in it and really want to continue it going. And of course, it remains to be seen if that's going to work or not. But XDefiant is out, and I assume it's doing okay.
It's doing okay. It hit 11 million players in its first month. So that's pretty good.
But I would think that what you notice is the talk around XDefiant isn't very big. People are playing the game.
Yeah.
But just at least from a video game social media side, there don't seem to be a lot of people talking about the game.
Yeah, it hasn't picked up a hype train, but people are playing it, and it has
people are playing it.
Has a decent player base on every console. I think it was in the top 10 on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So it is doing well.
I played a couple of matches. I had a good time. I think it's actually quite fun.
Yeah, what's actually?
I feel like XDefiant is the game that holds you off till Call of Duty, though. That's
it. Honestly, it's the gunplay isn't not better than Call of Duty. It is a breath of fresh air, but XDefiant did have a issue recently with cheaters and stuff that they're working on. Turns out people got pinpoint laser accuracy with certain guns.
Oh, okay.
And they're pulling off stuff, so they're trying to fix it up right now. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 already has cheating software that people have already showcased before the game even came out. They already are trying to sell it.
When does the beta go live for Black Ops 6?
I'm not sure because the game's I think it's supposed to be somewhere in August. But the problem is that people are already developing cheating software. By the way, for console as well. Cheating software works on console and PC. and so people can cheat and get those laser pinpoint accuracy in Call of Duty. So I'm curious how how Microsoft is going to handle that.
I hate when they ban gamer tag. You lose your whole library and all that. But
Yeah.
don't cheat, I guess. That's that. But yeah, I think we kind of hit this topic on the head. We can jump into topic number 2 of the day. Let me throw that timestamp down. Because I want to be good to the people who watch this show later. All right. So, topic number 2 of today. Assassin's Creed confirms that remakes are on the way. Not sure how everyone's feeling about this.
Remake 2 and Black Flag, and we're good. I don't care about anything else.
Don't care about anything else. Okay, well since you started,
Jesus, this man jumped in.
yeah. Jubei is definitely gonna lead off this topic, but Ubisoft has come out and said that they're working on some Assassin's Creed remakes. I was asked how I felt about this over the weekend on the gaming circle, and I made it known off the jump that I am a fan of remakes on games that are over 20 years old. I am not the selfish gamer that thinks like, oh, remakes are bad, because I understand that generations have gone by, and that hopefully there's a new batch of gamers who are now playing games who haven't experienced the same games that I had a chance to experience. And a remake is there for them. It's not always for every remake is not for me, and I understand it. And I'm not gonna be mad every time a remake gets announced. I just hope it's a quality remake and that I'm able to enjoy